Hume is our politics, our trade, our philosophy, and our religion. He was born on May 7, 1711, and died on August 25, 1776. Hume was the younger son of Joseph Hume, the modestly circumstanced laird or lord of Nine Wells, a small estate adjoining the village of Churnside, about 9 miles distant from Berwick upon Tweedon, the Scottish side of the border. He entered Edinburgh University when he was about 12 years old and left it at 14 or 15. As was then usual, Hume conceived of philosophy as the inductive experimental science of human nature. Taking the science of method of the English physicist Sir Isaac Newton as his model and building of the epistemology of English philosopher John Locke, Hume tried to describe how the mind works in acquiring what is called knowledge. He concluded that no theory of reality is possible.
Let's start our topic about the Sympathy by Hume's David. So, sympathy, according to ethics, it is a dynamic and challenging one. So, dynamic is to give vent to our feelings or to incite people to actions and attitudes. Ito yung sympathy, our feelings to someone, through their actions, through their attitudes, makikita natin na we feel for them or we feel for their sadness, their happiness in life. So, according to Hume, sympathy is the human capacity to receive the feelings and beliefs of other people. It is the process by which we experience what others are feeling and thinking. This process begins by forming an idea of what another person is experiencing. So, as it in this context, it explained to us that sympathy is a process by which we experience what others' feelings or what others' thinking. So, mai-experience natin kung ano yung nangyayari din sa kanila. We feel sympathy for them. Like we have to make ourselves like paano kapag ganun din tayo in reality, ganyan din ako na pakatulad din sa'yo on what you are experience and then I will experience also yung ganun na idea. Now, let's go to the 3 fundamental reasons that there is significant disagreement among Hume's commentators about his account, sympathy. So, first, he used the term sympathy to identify a cognitive mechanism by which a person enters into the sentiment of another. So, like we feel the pain and pleasures of another person through communications, through their actions, through their attitudes, makikita natin or malalaman natin on how they feel, like on how they feel in that sadness, in that happiness na nararamdaman nila. Makita natin sa mukha nila the thing, kung ano ba yung feelings nila for this day. For example, you see a stranger person, and then nakita mo na na-aksidente yung motor niya. You feel sympathy for him or her kasi naawa ka sa kanya, naawa ka sa kanya, and then you feel what he or she is feeling, the pain that he or she is feeling, she is feeling. Next is he uses the term sympathy to identify the sentiment that is communicated by the principles of sympathy. So in the idea of the number 2 is that others' sentiments is converted into an impression that he or she can experiences the same kind of passion as the other. So in here, ma-feel niya yung sympathy if he or she us impress or to another person, na parang gusto niya rin ulit ma-experience on what he or she experienced in her life, because he or she is impressed by him or admired by her, inspired by him. For example of this is the inspirational talk, diba? They tell about their experience, and then you want to also parang you want also to experience that in your life, kasi you are inspired or um you are impressed by his experience, and then you wanted also that experience to for you to experience ganun. So next is the third is he uses the term sympathy to identify the conversion process itself, connection to impressions and ideas. So in here, sympathy is nothing but the conversation of an idea into an impression by the force of imagination. Hume identifies two facts about human nature which explain what caused our less vivacious idea of another's person to be converted into an impression and notably become the very feeling the other is experiencing. So, first is we always experience an impressions of ourselves. It's true. Kapag you achieve someone, you do something good, you are impressed of yourself. Believe ako sa sarili ko, ganun. You are impressed you are impressed to yourself. So next is this: whatever is related to the impression must receive some share of that vivacity. So in the second, it means that Hume believes to that impression must receive some share of that vivacity. From this point, it follows that our idea of another's impression will be enlivened if that idea has some relation to ourselves.
So altruism can also be known as the ethical altruism, can basically be defined as an act that an individual performs in order to benefit someone else. So this speculates that the theory speaks about the understanding deeds that an individual would undertake to help and benefit someone else, even if it requires the sacrifice of self-interest. So it is like us being nice and helping others, but it is a part of give and take of life. So it maybe it is about to live a truly altruistic life is to habitually sacrifice your happiness or the well-being and values for the others, but others says that this is evil. The action that the individual would tackle would be considered morally right, as the result would benefit the recipient or the receiver than the person actually conducting or doing the action. So majority of the times, action that are performed by the individuals are not only by doing good for the others, but also protecting and helping them from any harm or getting any injury in a certain situations. So a familiar method of explaining the altruism is by appealing the concept of sympathy. Again, sympathy is someone feeling compassion to the other or a situation. So what explains a person's acting on behalf of the others is a sympathetic response to their difficulty. It says here it's like helping others.
Benevolence. According to Hume, this is the sentiment of wishing to promote the interests of our species and bestow happiness on human society and generally to be useful to others. Properly developed, this sentiment is informed by reason to ascertain the true interests of mankind so that we, example, give alms only so far as to relieve the indigent and not to encourage idleness. So, para sa akin, ang kabaitan ay nagkukunwari lamang. Lahat tayo sa uli ay naghahangad lamang ng ating pribadong interes. At bagaman tayo ay mukhang mabait sa mga kaibigan, ang kabaitang iyon ay hindi nahihimok ng isang walang interes na pagmamahal sa iba. Ngunit sa halip ay sa pamamagitan ng kasiyahang nakukuha natin mula sa kumpanyang natamo natin bilang resulta na pagpapakita ng kabutihang iyon.